Been a long time since I've done a reaction video to one of Frank Tufano's videos, and I thought I was going to be able to tear apart this video. In fact, I was going to not watch it and just react to it, which would have actually made me look pretty silly. I actually agree with him more than I disagree with him in this video. His videos, his advice is actually getting better, although some of it is still, I don't know. I don't buy a lot, like the organic stuff, and I'll get into that as the video goes on. But I'll be honest, I'm going to disagree where I disagree, but I'm going to agree where I agree. His videos are getting better. His advice is getting better. He still goes after vegans. Vegans are low-hanging fruit to these people, but, you know, whatever. Let's go.
How are you guys today? We are taking a look at Lean Beef Patty, who is a very popular fitness influencer, to say the least. Over 6 million followers on TikTok. A lot of people find her attractive, very fit, in shape, muscular abs, and she's got...
I do find it funny that he seems jealous of people that other people find attractive. You can hear it in his voice. That's all I'm going to say. I don't disagree with him on that. I think she's attractive, but I think it's funny because he seems almost jealous that people find her attractive.
Almost 3 million on Instagram. So by far one of the most popular people in the fitness industry. And the main point I'm going to make here is that females do not look like this without the use of hormones. So we'll get into that.
Now, I know from working, from teaching martial arts, this is not true. She is not unusually large for a woman. She has a lot of dedication to lifting. I wouldn't say that she's not enhanced, but I would say that that level of size is normal for a woman, particularly a woman if they're eating a lot of protein, taking branched chain amino acids. As people might know, if you eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, it does actually result in similar gains to steroid use. That's been proven. So that's not really like people can think what they want, but the thing is also, you'll notice she doesn't have Palumboism, she doesn't have any masculine, she doesn't have any virilization traits. I wouldn't assume, I'm not saying she's not taking hormones, but I wouldn't guess that she's taking hormones by looking at her. She also seems to favor flexibility training, which we do in the martial arts a lot, and she does very well with flexibility training. She is obviously very dedicated to what she does.
A bit later, but a while ago I wanted to do a video about women getting bulky when they lift weights, and girls like this are why women think that sometimes.
She's not bulky,
which we kind of need to debunk. So we're going to see what she eats in a day.
Good morning. I just woke up like 5 minutes ago, came downstairs to make some coffee and got some water. I didn't drink all of this right now. This is just left over from yesterday.
You can see with her arm there, she is not bulky. She's the size of a normally fit woman. I would consider her to be built like somebody that perhaps is a CrossFit athlete or something like that.
So conventional coffee and water is, dousing your stomach with fluoride, toxins, pollutants, just really, really bad for you. That's very...
Conventional coffee and water. I don't think that conventional water is really that bad for you. If you're that concerned about conventional water, get a filter of some kind and drink the water. Coffee has been shown, regular conventional coffee has been shown to extend lifespan. The only thing is I would recommend decaffeinated coffee. And actually Frank gets into this too. One of the problems I see is not enough people are talking about the abuse of stimulants and caffeine by athletes. They'll talk about the abuse of hormones and steroids and things like that, but they are not talking about the abuse of stimulants, and that really needs to be brought up. I'm somebody that I made it through life in my early adulthood, working third shift and things like that, by abusing caffeine. I would drink 2-3 pots, sometimes 3 pots of coffee a day. In retrospect, sometimes I don't even know how I'm alive. Okay, and and he's right. When we get to that, I'll explain why he's right about what he suggests.
Basic stuff, 101. Drinking regular plastic bottled water, and hey, if you need coffee, maybe some things in your diet and lifestyle aren't correct, because you really should be able to just wake up and go throughout your day without the caffeine.
And I agree with him on that 100%.
Counting the coffee, last time I made all you can eat, what I ate in a day, somebody made a comment and said, coffee's a liquid, you don't eat coffee. I eat coffee. You're just not having coffee the way I have coffee. No, I'm just kidding. I just have enough coffee where it makes a dent in my caloric intake, so I'm counting it. It's something. And then I'll be refilling this later in the day. I'm not one of those people that...
Now, what I would say, too, is if you're concerned about the shape of your body and the health of your body, you shouldn't be putting things in your coffee that make a dent in your caloric intake if you're drinking coffee. Coffee is a calorie-free food, more or less. It should remain that way. I would recommend putting things like artificial sweetener in there and stuff like that. If you're putting so much sugar and cream and things of this nature in your coffee that's making a dent in your caloric intake, you got issues. Because you don't need to be putting that stuff in coffee. If you have to be putting that in coffee to stomach it, chances are you probably don't like coffee. Maybe you should try something else, like maybe, I don't know, cocoa, which has less caffeine. It has theobromine in it, which is a slow-acting stimulant. And again, don't go crazy with cocoa, but you could have cocoa, which is as easy as making, maybe get 2 cups of water, put 2 tablespoons of baking cocoa in there with some sucralose, with some aspartame, what have you. Bada bing, bada boom, you have cocoa instead of coffee. And the health benefits of cocoa far exceed the health benefits of coffee.
Takes track of the water they drink in the morning. I don't have a certain amount of water I drink every morning. I just felt like I needed water, so I'm drinking water. Refreshed.
It's nice to unwind after a long week of
Refreshed. This is actually monk fruit. It says stevia, but I just like this container, so I refilled it. I'm kind of on a plastic issue right now, though.
Plastic issue?
I am very against stevia. Now, she said that's monk fruit, but the thing is with stevia is a proven hormonal disruptor, and it can negatively impact fertility and hormone levels in women. The fact that she has used stevia is disturbing to me. I am very much against stevia. I don't think stevia is a healthy alternative to artificial sweeteners. I think artificial sweeteners have been studied enough that, we shouldn't be going crazy about it. I mean, phenylketonuria, which people that have issues with phenylalanine, which is an amino acid. I mean, come on. That's so rare, it's ridiculous. And those people also have to restrict like things like pork and beef and milk and things like that. But let's go on.
Why would she bring that up after touting her giant plastic jug of water? At least she acknowledged.
I don't agree with Frank about the plastic blah, 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 blah. I don't think that plastic is the reason that people are in the state that they're in. I know a lot of people do. That's not really, in my opinion, people have been using plastic long enough that it doesn't really seem to be an issue. I know some people think that, all these forever chemicals, a lot of that research is inconclusive. And also, there's things that you can eat, such as broccoli and stuff, that would stop the alleged feminizing effects of these things anyway.
It.
Container. But this is what I have for now. Monk fruit. So I have a large mug.
And if you guys are unfamiliar with the plastic, the amount of chemicals, endocrine inhibitors would be made up for if you were using synthetic hormones, hypothetically. People on steroids don't really worry about the plastic as much because they're supplementing testosterone artificially.
People on steroids don't worry about the hormonal disruptors in plastic because they wouldn't even know about that. That's why they don't worry about it. Most people that are taking steroids don't go, oh, you know what? I'm a health nut. I'm going to go shoot some dangerous synthetic hormones into my body. So that's why people on steroids don't worry about the hormonal disruptors in plastic. They wouldn't even know about it. Or the hormonal disruptors in stevia, for that matter.
I can't really see what that is. At least it's organic. And if you go really, really high quality with the coffee, it's not the end of the world. If you're using filtered water, organic biodynamic coffee beans, high quality organic cream, organic.
Biodynamic growing, which was created by Rudolf Steiner, is not proven to be any healthier than normally conventionally grown stuff. The other problem with biodynamically grown foods is if you are a vegan or if you are trying to be ethical, there's a lot of practices in biodynamic farming that are very cruel to animals. I would recommend people check out biodynamic farming, maybe look into anthroposophy and other aspects of the nonsense promoted by Rudolf Steiner. The guy was a frickin' kook, okay? The fact that Frank is promoting biodynamic grown anything leads me to wonder if he knows what biodynamically grown foods are or what the origins of them are. There's nothing magical about biodynamically grown foods. They're just organic, essentially, but there's a lot of like hokey pokey, semi-voodoo stuff going on with how it's grown.
Like sugar, that's fine, but she's adding a few chemicals here and there that are definitely not good.
Recently acquired a scale to measure foods. Do I recommend that everybody uses a scale or tracks their food to that degree? No. Some people will take it too far and it's just not healthy. Don't worry.
I would say this. I would say that everybody should track their food in some way, shape, or form. Do I think you need a scale? No. I think that you need a scale for me, for example, for some of the amino acids and micronutrients I need a scale to weigh out in grams the amount of stuff I'm taking, because a teaspoon might not be the same depending on how much it's packed or something. Usually it's nominally different, but the fact of the matter is I would only recommend using a scale if you're dealing with things like, micronutrients, like, amino acids and things like that. I don't really think you need a scale to measure everyday foods. I think volumes work fine with that, generally speaking. Of course, let's move on here.
About me, though.
Some people will take it too far and it's not healthy. Well, judging by your knowledge, your energy, and the amount of time you've been doing this, kind of gifted on the genetic end, just goes in the gym, looks like that. Everybody likes the way she looks when...
Being that I follow her, I think it's, she doesn't just go in the gym and looks like that. She works very hard, okay? She does work very hard at what she does. I think a lot of people get jealous of people's success when it comes to putting on muscle and gaining performance. And I think it's wrong to assume that people are on hormones just because they're doing better. And I think it's wrong to say people are just genetically gifted. A lot of people work really hard for what they have. Now, my brother and I are both mesomorphic. We both put on muscle easy. We both respond very quickly to exercise. Okay, not everybody is mesomorphic. Okay, some people are endomorphic, some people are ectomorphic. I would say me and my brother are probably a blending of endomorphic and mesomorphic, favoring more the mesomorphic side. But the issue is that you can't say that everything is genetic gifts when people are putting forth a lot of effort. Now, in the martial arts world, what I've noticed is a lot of people that do better are actually people that have to work really hard, that do dedicate themselves. Frank Zane, the famous bodybuilder, referred to that, when people have genetic gifts, he referred to that as the curse of potential. Frank Zane admits that he himself had to work really hard to get the musculature that he got. And that's why he did so well, is he had to work really hard, because he didn't suffer from the curse of potential. And I'm going to move on.
90% plus of people will never look like this regardless of how strict they are, because they don't have the knowledge or the drive.
This is funny. Regardless of how strict they are, that's not true, because if they are that strict, they would have the knowledge. And he goes back to the drugs. He thinks that she's on drugs, which I agree, she should not be abusing stimulants like that. I personally don't think she's on hormones.
Like this regardless of how strict they are, because they don't have the knowledge or the drugs or the commitment. So
I am going to do one serving, 170 grams. I'm sweaty right now, if you can't tell. I was running around for a second.
Probably from abusing the stimulants.
Not actually running,
she's a little obnoxious.
Figuratively.
I don't think she's obnoxious. She's a chick. I mean, like, what the hell? She talks like a chick. You know, she's a chick in her young 20s. That's how chicks in their young 20s talk, for God's sake.
okay, so this is Lucerne Dairy Farms Greek plain non-fat yogurt. You know, when you go dairy, especially eggs, at least organic, ideally you're going to a local farm. So, you know, mainly to reduce the chemicals, the negatives, and that's the real main problem with most people's diets, the bad things. It's not necessarily that they don't have enough nutrients. It's that all the negative stuff, the chemicals, the plastics, tax the body's nutrient stores, which means then you need more anyway.
I don't really think that he's being accurate with his own interpretation. He's going with these exaggerated claims of organic foods. I know a lot of people that got really big on conventionally grown dairy products, conventionally grown eggs, conventionally grown whey protein, conventionally grown everything. No steroids involved, okay? I know that for a fact with a lot of the people that I know that got very big on these things. It has to do, a lot of this does have to do with the high amount of protein. And it does not really have to do with the organicness of it. There's not really very many benefits to organic dairy. Dairy is loaded with feminizing hormones anyway, regardless of whether it's organic or not, because it comes from a female cow. It has estrogens and things of that nature in there, and Frank Zane again would kick dairy out of his diet before competition to get that little bit of extra estrogen out of himself. There's a lot of other issues. New 5GC is another issue, which is an inflammatory thing that's in dairy. Another problem with dairy, of course, is just the casein, which is carcinogenic. It's a slow digesting protein. A lot of people are allergic to lactose, or not allergic to lactose, but can't digest lactose. In fact, there's only a few people North Africans and Caucasians that are genetically capable of making lactase, enough lactase as adults to digest these things, and that's because our ancestors had herd animals in which they would drink the dairy as a protein source. But let's move on.
Okay, it went a little bit over, but it's fine. Oh!
This book helped our ancestors survive war.
It's fine. Oh! I just hit my tooth. That's really scary. One time I chipped my front tooth on a peach.
She eats like me. Bites her teeth on the metal.
I am a sensitive baby. And then 1 serving of honey.
Now, what's crazy is the difference between the store-bought stuff, like kind of bad, versus.
Yeah. And then 1 serving of honey.
Now, what's crazy is the difference between the store-bought stuff and the farm stuff is like kind of bad versus the highest quality probiotic you can get.
I just finished my yogurt. Essential amino acids. Girl of mine. Code beef.
Now, what I would recommend there, she put honey on her yogurt. I would not recommend honey on yogurt. I would recommend something like sugar-free maple syrup. I wouldn't recommend yogurt, though. I would be recommending she be following a plant-based diet as much as possible. But most people aren't going to do that. I would be recommending something like, a sugar-free syrup alternative, a pancake syrup alternative or something of that nature. But she would have to go easy on that due to the sugar alcohols in it, which can cause digestion, indigestion, and things of that nature. Sugar alcohols are natural. They're a natural calorie, low-calorie, sugar-free sweetener. Let's move on.
This is actually my first time having this flavor.
We did a video on the collagen a week or 2 ago, and amino acids kind of same thing. It's laboratory processed chemical feedlot waste, and you shouldn't
It's laboratory processed chemical feedlot waste. Oh my goodness.
consume it. And if you really do want extra amino acids, then you just want a high quality collagen or bone broth.
I had the peach mango one previously. Wasn't really my favorite, but I like this flavor in the pre-workout / nitric. So we'll see. This is a fresh canister, so I gotta fish out the scoop. Something's in the way.
No, God, please, no!
I'm gonna do 1 scoop.
That much powder by volume of a chemical, very, very bad to be taking every day. Very bad.
I think what's funny with Frank is he does not understand that everything is made of chemicals. Everything's made of chemicals, okay? Whether they're naturally occurring chemicals or synthetic chemicals, everything's made of chemicals. A lot of these synthetic supplements, like the amino acids and such, they might be feedlot waste, they might be processed from duck feathers or what have you. Some people claim that BCAAs are from purified duck feathers. Very well could be, but the BCAAs are BCAAs. They've been purified to such a point that they're pure BCAAs. That's what the chemical is. Okay, that's the chemical. So when you're taking these amino acids, I got in an argument with somebody the other day about synthetic vitamin C versus natural vitamin C. Yeah, it's the same chemical. Same chemical. Whether it's natural or synthetic, it's the same chemical. So let's move on.
So talented.
I mean, clearly sponsored. She's getting paid, so she definitely hasn't done this before. You know, these people are so two-faced. and the marketing and sponsorships. And it's hilarious that when they make these day of eating videos, it's so obvious that like they're not in their comfort zone. They didn't really do this before. Because if this was like a proven healthy diet and things you've been doing, like, you know, the days of eating I made.
I don't think this chick has a proven diet that she regularly follows. She's just messing around. Like, if you follow this chick, she does a lot of random stuff. I don't think she has a very dedicated diet. I think her diet she plays around a lot with diet, I think. I think she just focuses on getting her protein in. Beyond that, I don't really think she does much. Beyond that, with the amount of exercise she does, I don't really think she needs to do that much, quite honestly. So that's the thing here. I wouldn't assume she's getting paid. She very well could be. Now, she did say she didn't like the flavor of the product. If she was getting paid, I don't think she would have said she didn't like the flavor of the product. Okay, that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure, okay? But I would assume that a company paying you to promote their product would not like you saying that that you didn't like the flavor of the product. So let's move on.
I mean, you have information to share.
Yeah, this flavor's way better. The mango peach flavor, or whatever it is, I actually like it in the pre-workout, but for some reason, for the EAAs, it was just not sitting well with me. So, lemon lime, delicioso.
Freeloading John Fetterman didn't pay his...
Delicioso. Hibiscus mint sparkling tonic. This is my first time having this. This is just for enjoyment.
This doesn't make any sense. Is she sponsored by this?
Contains 1% juice. Sus.
Well, at least
I honestly think this girl just likes saying stuff. I don't think she's sponsored with this. I think she likes playing around with just playing around with the camera. She's a very playful person, as you can tell by the way she films things. I don't assume she's being sponsored by anybody. I assume she is a very playful person. That's what it seems like to me.
it's organic.
Not very good, but I'm gonna finish it.
See, if she's being sponsored by a product, why would she say not very good, but I'm going to finish it? Does that sound like an ad? Does that sound like an ad? This dog shit, this tastes like dog shit, but go buy it. That doesn't sound like an ad to me.
Got my chicken, sprayed the pan with
Oh
Pam
God, look at that pan.
red pepper flakes. Someone was telling me I should season it like
It's like falling apart too. Like the handle shape.
outside of the pan so I get it better seasoned. I don't care that much. Salt.
Who does this? Like chops up the chicken, puts it in the pan, and then seasons it. Like
Frank doesn't understand. There's a lot of people. She's using food as a vehicle to get nutrients into her body. This is how bodybuilders eat. If he would understand, this is the classic bodybuilders do not eat clean. She's basically dirty bulking in a way, although she's not really bulking because she's watching her calories. But a lot of classical bodybuilders from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they're not the most health conscious people. This might surprise him, but when they eat, their primary goal is to get as much protein in as they can, to get as little fat as they can, and to get basically a decent amount of carbohydrates so they can get a pump. That's about it. He clearly doesn't talk to many people that were bodybuilders from back then, he's younger than me, so that could be why. But the other thing is, bodybuilders are not the most health conscious people. Does this mean that she can't get a good pump? Does this mean that she can't get in good shape like this? No. It just means that she's not following the healthiest diet. Might be a newsflash to people. Bodybuilders do not follow the healthiest diets.
I've never seen anyone do that. This is so weird. I mean, the chili is a little hard on the liver. Conventional regular chicken is very, very bad. Very bad. I mean, any conventional meat is so full of chemicals and bad for you, but chicken is probably one of the worst.
There's not really any like certain kind of seasoning that I use. I just look inside my cabinet and decide on a whim. Italian, mamma mia. That's a tasty chicken. Okay, yeah. Let that.
She probably actually just eats out every day, like goes to Chipotle, I guess.
I highly doubt that she eats out on a regular basis. She probably does eat out quite a bit. My brother was very jacked. Do you know how he got jacked? The McLean. He was eating McLeans and quarter pounders and McDonald's. He was working at McDonald's. He was eating a lot of McLeans and a lot of McDonald's. He got jacked off of McDonald's because of the caloric intake, the protein. Lots of protein in McDonald's. Is that a diet that I would follow? No. Can you get big on McDonald's? Absolutely. Would I recommend eating a lot of McDonald's? Hell no. Okay, but you can.
Typical bodybuilder bro science meals.
Cook up. It's done. Okay, the final product that I scrounged together: 6 ounces of chicken.
Yeah, and 6 ounces of seasoning.
Because
it tastes like
barbecue
crap.
sauce, a cup of
Not only is it bad for you,
vegetables, and
What's funny is the seasoning actually adds very important phytonutrients. That's what's actually kind of funny.
the rest of my Triscuits, which is about 6. Bum ba da bum.
Triscuits. 1 serving of Triscuits. This is like bro science bodybuilder, low carb. And I guess one of the biggest myths is that the toxins are stored in the fat of the animal, but they're actually...
That's not a myth at all. They're stored in all the tissues of the animal, but particularly the fat and the organs.
stored in all the tissue, the protein, the fat, the organs. So even when people think they're eating lean chicken breast,
they're stored more so in the fat than elsewhere. Of course, conventionally grown chicken is going to be full of hormones and toxins and antibiotics and yada, 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 yada. Doesn't mean you can't get big off of it.
Oh, there's no toxins in it? No. There are. There's a lot of toxins in it. Maybe almost as much as those Triscuits. And conventional GMO, glyphosate, chemical-filled wheat, processed with chemicals, preservatives. It's just such a bad carb source.
Getting ready to go to the gym.
Now, I do think that Frank has what's known as orthorexia. I never believed in orthorexia until I found the carnivore dieters, and they seem to have a fear of anything they deem to be unhealthy, regardless of the lack of science or lack of evidence, but they won't eat certain things because they're afraid the foods are laden with poison and things like this. Look, conventionally grown food, this is the problem with organic stuff. Number one, you're not going to get a good enough yield to get it affordably. That's the first problem, is it's very expensive. Number two, there's not really any proof that organic food is healthier than inorganic food. There's some studies that have nominal evidence. You know, conventionally grown oats with their glyphosate or whatever, I'm going to eat them. I'm going to eat them. I'm going to eat my conventionally grown oats. I'm going to eat them every day, okay? It's a good carb source. Regardless of what Frank says, conventionally grown oats are a good carb source. Triscuits, yeah, whatever. But, you know, that's all I'm going to say.
It's benching today. Got my water. and my nitric, because I have a...
Now, this is the thing here, and Frank does go into this. She really needs to consider, why do you need pre-workout before you go to the gym? Why do you need this? And why do you need that? There's obviously something wrong elsewhere. She's clearly utilizing this. And he recommends B vitamins. You know, why not take some BCAAs? Why not take some B vitamins like Frank says? Why not, as Frank does say, why not get some better quality sleep? Why not get some sleep? You know? Get some sleep. Make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep. And that's the thing, is people need to manage their days and things of that nature. But let's move on and let's hear Frank give virtually the same advice that I gave, except he's against, you know, laboratory processed, what do you call it, amino acids.
Pot of coffee, as we have seen. 1 scoop. I want 2 scoops, but I'm running awfully low. Yikes.
So I was actually going to make a natural pre-workout supplement, but after doing research, even on like the high quality organic, you know, ancestral alternatives, the nitrates are so bad for your liver and kidneys. I could not ethically sell something like that people would be consuming every day. And that combined with the creatine, the protein, the drug usage in bodybuilding, that's part of the reason these people are having kidney failure, organ failure, all these health issues so young.
And I'm actually happy Frank is covering this, because nobody else is covering the abuse of pre-workout and stimulants and these things that affect the organs badly. Nobody else in the fitness community, although I don't know if I would consider Frank to be in the fitness community. I don't consider myself to be in the fitness community. I consider myself to be in the life extensionist community.
This stuff is not healthy to do every day. And if you need the caffeine, the nitric oxide for your workout, do something else. Do something else.
That's the thing. If you need nitric oxide for your workout, are you getting enough vitamin C? Why don't you try taking L-citrulline or L-arginine? Why don't you try another alternative? Now, I know Frank's against those amino acids, but there's other ways to get that nitric oxide pump.
Of your diet, fix the lifestyle, get some better sleep. You shouldn't have to do this.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Liberty Mutual.
You know, take some B vitamins. B vitamins are so much healthier.
Yummy. Just finished my workout. It was an okay workout. I benched, did some benching accessories, did the Stairmaster for 30 minutes.
I feel like she could
at
punch me into a
7
basketball.
for 20 minutes, and then, or maybe it was 6 or 7 for 20 minutes, and then 2 for 10 minutes, and then stretch.
Like, let's be real.
I do very much. See, this is the thing. People don't understand the importance of stretching. Her level of flexibility is amazing. And another thing that people don't understand is if she was, and look at her arms. He's saying how bulked she is. She's not bulked at all. She's built like a normal woman. I wouldn't put her as any bigger than somebody that runs track or somebody that's a competitive swimmer. In fact, she's smaller than a lot of competitive swimmers. The other thing is her flexibility. If she was abusing steroids, her muscles would be so large. She would have hypertonia. Her fitness level is honestly pretty damn good. And her flexibility is very astonishing.
She sounds like the typical airhead, hasn't much of a clue what she's talking about. Sounds like she does whatever the hell she wants in the gym and definitely doesn't know what she's eating.
I honestly think she does whatever the hell she wants whenever the hell she wants it. She has a very playful personality. I think she plays around a lot with the diet. She plays around a lot in the gym, especially with the strength training. But here's the thing. If she's moving weight, she's going to get bigger. Okay? She seems very dedicated to the flexibility training, mostly dedicated to the flexibility training. Her muscle mass is not inordinately huge. She's not a huge chick. I don't know what kind of drugs he's on or whatever. I'm just joking. I don't want to, he's pretty litigious. I don't want to say that he's abusing drugs. He might sue me. But you can see from her shoulder mass, this is a normally built woman. She does seem to favor a lot of flexibility training. She likes strength training, but she seems to be very playful with how she goes about exercise, very playful with how she goes about diet, very playful with how she goes about filming. That's my opinion. I don't think she has a dedicated program.
And she looks like that, What's the likelihood she's not taking anything?
I've seen many female martial artists that have never touched a weight in their life. Never picked up a weight in their life. They've done some push-ups and sit-ups and karate, and they look like her, if not even more defined than her.
When she looks better than 90% of people in the gym, 95, even 99,
I pulled my hamstring, so I'm really suffering. But now I'm going to have this Bear Bells protein bar. This is
No, Frank's going to get on this for not being organic. As I said, bodybuilders do not favor a healthy diet, okay? Diet to a bodybuilder. She's following an old school bodybuilder type diet. Basically, food is a vehicle to get macros into the body. A lot of times they worry about their micros through supplementation. That's kind of how bodybuilders do stuff. I don't see anything odd about her diet. I know many people that have gotten results with her diet. These are not health conscious people. These are people that are using food for a purpose. They're using food as fuel. They're not going for the healthiest diet.
new flavor. I mean, a new flavor for me. I've never tried it before. I don't know what.
So have you tried anything? Because normally when you want to make a day of eating video, that's going to be seen by hundreds of thousands.
Now, this is what I don't like. He wants to bash the way she's making the video. Like I said, I don't think she has a set program. I don't think she has a set diet. I think she might try to get under a certain amount of calories. She's definitely trying to get a certain amount of protein. I do think that. Again, her build is a normal build. It's not, I mean, I don't know if Frank has been around athletic women. That's not that huge of a physique. It just isn't.
Millions of people and influence them to do similar things. Maybe you should, have some tried and true things. And the reason I actually started making the best bars.
Her tried and true things is what she's doing. It's just being active. That's her tried and true thing. That's why she looks the way that she does. Probably the reason that she enjoys going to the gym is because she takes a playful attitude toward it instead of a super serious, super regimented outlook toward it. Now, there's people like me and people like Frank that like to stick to regimes and things of that nature. She doesn't seem to be like that.
Organic Rice Crisp bar, the chewy, all that stuff, the pemmican, is because I would go in the supermarket and not one of the bars was decent. Yeah, there's a few okay ones that I would eat if I absolutely had to, but still usually full of vegetable seed oils and low quality stuff. And that's with me picking the best ones. The one she's having that's not even organic, I can't imagine. That would destroy me. I wouldn't sleep for weeks.
Now, as you can see, this is him talking about his orthorexia. This is a clear sign of orthorexia here.
Not even organic? I can't imagine. 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 That would destroy me. I wouldn't sleep for weeks.
It would destroy him. He wouldn't sleep for weeks, but not from the health effects of it, just because he's crazy.
Creamy crisp is supposed to mean, so I don't know what it's even supposed to taste like, but it looks good. Looks extra crispy. It's coconut, I think. Tastes like coconut. I like it. You know, I don't know. I don't see coconut flavor anywhere in here, but it tastes like coconut to me. I'm pretty hungry. Like extra crisps at the top. Okay, I just took a shower. While I wait for my hair to dry, I guess let's talk about some things. I do track and measure a lot of my food, not all of it. Like if I'm out at a restaurant or something, obviously I'm just gonna eyeball that.
The measuring and that type of crap is so funny to me when you're eating Triscuits and random protein bars. It just...
See, he doesn't understand that the reason she's measuring she's measuring calories and macros. She's not, that's the thing. All food has macros and calories. That's what she's measuring. This is food as fuel. This is not food as a means of health promotion.
The IFYM, it fits your macros. It's just this like big campaign to keep people sick and not get them to understand that food quality is really important. And the main barrier is,
I agree with him that food quality is important, but it's not a necessity to get results in the gym. That's the biggest problem. So you have to understand, if you want to help bodybuilders get healthier, that's a different market than helping regular people get healthier.
I don't want to spend more money, so yeah, it can't be good for me. Let me just measure out half a Pop-Tart.
Do I think everybody should be tracking and measuring to the degree that I do that? Not necessarily. For some people, it can be very helpful. I think a lot of people either over or underestimate how much they're eating. So tracking, at least even for a little while, can be pretty beneficial just so that you actually see how much you're eating. Because if I don't track, I'd probably not get enough protein, but I might get a lot of carbs.
Now you notice she is focusing, like I said, she's focusing on getting enough protein.
Not get enough protein, but I might get a lot of carbs and a significant amount of fat just because naturally I'm going to gravitate towards basically just eating like cake. If I was just going to eat how I eat, I wouldn't eat a lot of protein. So I tracked to... So I'm debating between having one of these turkey stuffed bell peppers, but I feel like that's not fun because I didn't make it. I don't want to make anything.
Now I want to take note. She said it's not fun. Like I said, she takes a very playful attitude toward her diet, a very playful attitude toward the gym.
But I feel like that's not fun because I didn't make it. I don't want to make anything. All I have is chicken.
Yeah, we know you don't actually cook anything. We know you don't. We know you go to Chipotle or something every meal.
Make something. This apple in the meantime. I found this pasta that I forgot that I bought like a really long time ago. I actually am not
Pasta that she bought a really long time ago for her What I Eat in a Day.
a fan of pasta, but when else am I going to eat it, you know? So, pasta!
It's literally like she's never cooked before, and now she has to film a day of eating, and she's just digging up random crap out of her pantry.
I don't think that this girl is the most gifted, and I'm somebody that cooks, and I went to a Job Corps for culinary arts and whatnot, but I mean, this girl obviously does not have the best kitchen skills. But again, he's attacking her on personal levels. He's not attacking, like the thing is, where he's attacking her are things that don't really matter to her goals. So that's what I don't understand. He's attacking her on things that matter to his goals. These aren't her goals. I don't think he recognizes that. But I do think that his videos are getting much better. I think that he's promoting health now. But again, he's attacking her for eating to meet her goals when he's saying that she should be trying to meet his goals. That's what I don't understand.
At this point, I decided I was going to do a voiceover, but right here, I had forgotten to press record. I was so upset. So here I'm making the sauce. I used 2 ounces of Greek yogurt, some parsley,
Like
and some
a
Italian
ghetto
seasoning.
tzatziki sauce.
Then I started to prepare some vegetables. Had garlic and broccoli. I think it was like 4 ounces of broccoli, if I do believe correctly. It was like low-key a lot of broccoli, though. I didn't measure in a cup. I measured on the scale. I cooked that in the pan. I just put some salt on it. Cooked it in the pan. Then my pasta.
Do you guys know how bad those salt grinders actually are? Like, are they grinding plastic into the food? I've always avoided them because I've heard that, but haven't tested it myself.
It was done, so I combined it in the sauce. Added some nutritional yeast.
We did a video on
About
nutritional
2
yeast a few
tablespoons
years
worth.
ago now. Just take B vitamins.
Mixed that in. I don't think it would have made a difference if I mixed that in before or after, but I just happened to remember it after.
Now, I noticed that he's not talking about naturally sourced B vitamins and doesn't understand that these other B vitamins are synthetic and made in genetically modified bacteria in a laboratory. They're the B vitamins I take, but then again, I'm not obsessed with everything being natural and ancestral like Frank is.
Then I combined the vegetables and the chicken and mixed all of that together. I guess you don't.
Look, as an Italian, a little broccoli raw with some garlic and pasta. Ooh. But she butchered it. I would not want this. It's honestly, it's not that bad of a meal compared to what the average standard American dieter eats. But I mean, it's not good for your liver because of the chicken and the broccoli. If this was actually just,
It's not good for your liver because of the broccoli. Oh my God, that is classic.
beef and pasta, even though conventional, I wouldn't be as against it. But again, when you're not going organic, you have all the toxins and the chemicals in it. When you're not eating quality food, it's too hard to get over that hump.
You don't have to mix it if you don't want, and it doesn't really make a difference. Then I enjoyed, and it was scrumptious.
Freeloading John Fetterman didn't pay.
I think I'm going to have to complain here. Frank wants to keep talking about how everybody else is on the dole and all this stuff. How many goddamn ads do I have to go through?
Another note I would like to add is I feel like a lot of people believe that tracking is inherently restrictive, which is not the case, because it's kind of getting late right now, and if I had been left to my own devices, I would have just gone to sleep, but I haven't eaten quite enough today, so if I wasn't tracking, I would have just not eaten enough. You see what I'm saying?
See, now, I agree with her to a point with this. This is true, although I don't think under eating by 100 or 200 or even maybe 300 calories, that's not going to kill you if you do that 1 or 2 days. However, when you're trying to stay in a state of anabolism, it can be detrimental to muscle growth.
Anyway, I'm making a smoothie or a protein shake if you want to.
When you eat quality food and go according to your appetite, if you work out, your body composition will naturally get to where it is. So you can make whatever you want as long as there's protein, fat, and carbs in the meal, as long as it's all high quality and you eat to your appetite.
Now listen to that. Like he's saying, you still have to eat your protein, fat, and carbs. This is just a way of tracking. He's just talking about another way of tracking. This is basically what he's promoting is a similar concept to the zone diet, although he's not talking about tracking the amounts of macros in a good way, in a way that's, optimizing the use of them as the zone diet does. But in a way, he's just talking about tracking. He's just talking about a different way of tracking. There's many different ways of tracking macros, the hand-eye method, or just what Frank is talking about here, just making sure you're getting all of your macros in every meal. That's it. But the thing is, your body composition might get better, but it's, I don't know if you're going to reach the levels that some professional bodybuilders do. But also, if you look at her physique, she has the physique of maybe a swimmer. She's not built like some kind of jacked super athlete anyway.
Tight, you're going to look good and you're going to feel good. The reason these people need to do this CECO, calories in, calories out nonsense, track everything and restrict everything, is because the food's low quality, they're deficient in nutrients, their bodies are full of toxins, and their natural appetite and satiation.
So he's saying that caloric theory is complete nonsense. I would have agreed with him years back, except for it's not the case. When I started looking into Cron, a lot of these diets that focus on natural foods and things like that, a lot of them actually control caloric intake by focusing on whole foods. You're eating a lot less calories when you focus on whole foods. I mean, for fuck's sake, if you're following a carnivore diet, if you're eating a lot of lean proteins and some fats, you're going to be eating a hell of a lot less calories than if you were eating a standard American diet. I mean, that's just the truth. If you're eating an ancestral diet like Frank's talking about, generally speaking, you're going to be eating a hell of a lot less calories than if you're eating a standard American diet.
Is so thrown off. They don't have a choice.
So in other words, what I'm saying is they're tracking without tracking in a traditional sense. That's just another way of tracking by focusing on whole foods.
I also got this recently. You know, the macros on it is it's like basically heavy cream, but I'm really interested in it and I feel like it will make my smoothie a little bit better. It's rose water, yogurt drink.
That sounds disgusting.
I don't think it's gonna make this better, but I like the taste of it on its own. I actually did decide to add a little bit.
Literally every single thing in this video is random stuff she found in her pantry that she has to use for the day of eating because she didn't go shopping apparently. Rose water, heavy cream. Yeah, I'm sure you eat that every...
I'm trying to make this thick and creamy, but I can never do it right. Anyway, this is half a banana, a bunch of ice cubes. They were all weird sizes, so it's like 7, but some of them were like this big. 1 scoop of vanilla protein powder and a little bit of this, and then a little bit of water. We'll see. It's really very delicious. Much better than my ones made with just water and banana and protein powder. Blueberries! Pretty good consistency. Kind of like a milkshake, but not quite so sweet.
Wow, that was enlightening. I'm glad I wasted 20 minutes of everyone's time for this nonsense. Hey, look, the least they could do is put a little bit of effort into it, you know? It's absolutely insane. Like, she didn't even go...
His thing is he is dissing her for the quality of her video. She, as I said, she takes a playful approach to filming, a playful approach to working out, a playful approach to diet. She's not a super serious person like Frank. And he doesn't understand that different people have different goals and different people have different ways of reaching those goals.
Shopping, she didn't put anything together. She didn't try to act or sound like she knows what she's doing. Literally just minimal effort. But I guess that's the attitude you have when you have like 10 million followers on all your platforms and have everything handed to you. I mean, she only has a few sponsorships.
I wonder if he ever thought that the reason that she has so many followers... I don't follow this girl for advice. I follow this girl because I think she's fun to follow. I like how she behaves. It's fun to see her in my newsfeed. That's why I follow her, okay? It's not because she's a fun person. Not everyone that you follow, not everything has to be super serious all the time. And that's what I think has a lot of these people that are obsessed with diet and critiquing other people. They don't grasp that.
Does have a very large following. I mean, I can't imagine she's making a crazy amount of money just from the ad revenue. But she does sell the gym program, so I'm sure that a lot of people are trying to look like her, despite her probably taking performance-enhancing drugs, having zero clue what she's doing, and looking like that. So I think most of the recent Day of Eating reviews, for the most part, have all had this similar thing where they don't actually eat normal foods and cook for themselves. They just go out and eat all the time. So when they actually have to...
A decent amount of bodybuilders do go out and eat all the time. That's the truth.
Do the video, it's so fake, and obviously it's not what they actually do. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I don't really think this needed any explaining, but I'm sure she has tons and tons and tons of people that are listening to her and following her that think they're going to look like this. You're not going to look anything like this eating this diet.
Now, the thing is, if they dedicated themselves to the workouts the way that she does, they might look like that. Like I said, a lot of the girls and women that I've been associated with and met through the martial arts, they're way more defined than her. Some of them are bigger than her, never touched a weight in their life. They do some calisthenics and they do karate, okay? They follow diets very similar to hers, if not far worse, not tracking anything, not making sure they get macros. They eat pizza, they eat McDonald's, they eat garbage all the time. So what I'm saying is when you actually are around athletic people, and that's just people in the martial arts, when you start looking at people in like swimmers, competitive swimmers, even if it's high school level, their physiques are different and they eat garbage. The thing is, what she has working for her right now is her youth. That's what she has working for her right now is her youth. I would strongly recommend she follow a 100% plant-based diet and go high-protein vegan. I really would. But I'm not her. I don't have the same goals as her. And she doesn't have the same ethical views as me. So she's not going to do what I'm going to tell her to do. So what do? I don't tell her to do anything. I just enjoy her content. And that's all for this video.